kind of confused with the ban towards Yuzong, right, for Cambodia. It definitely sets up for a mage like Farsa to come through for Cambodia, but I would have expected that Yuzong ban to come from Indonesia with the Eve, with already somewhat of a front-to-back composition. But I think at this point, Cambodia really needs to stop brands from doing something, right? And on the 1-1, you want to just ban the Irithel. Irithel just becomes such a good pick up against the 1-1, but the Leslie actually gets banned out, leaving the Irithel up for grabs for Indonesia, which is interesting.
I think we see a similar quote-unquote tactic used by the Philippines, having a Yave and an Irithel against the 1-1. We saw it, I think, in game number 1 in the earlier match. And it makes a lot of sense. I think Leslie has a lot of damage, and that is dangerous for the Martis, for the tankier frontline members. But having an Irithel, as you mentioned, Mirko, counters that 1-1. And in the late game, if Cambodia is really going hard for an engage, the mobility coming in from an Irithel, it can just hit while moving, right, will be a huge advantage to the kite game. And looking at Indonesia right now, with a Yve, it's going to be very difficult to run away or towards the Indonesian side.
I think at this point, Indonesia needs to choose whether they want to ban out the mid lane or that XP lane. They decide to go for a Lunox ban, which is interesting, but it does signify again that Indonesia might want to go for a sustainable XP laner, a Uranus, an Esmeralda.
Fredrin?
I think the Uranus. Jawhead in the XP lane may be a bit too aggressive, especially considering that they don't know who that Jawhead's going to be laning up against. So they go for the safer pick right now, and Indonesia can respond with an XP laner like, well, you know, it's Psychots. And Paquito, Benedetta. These are the two heroes he's known for back in the MDL.
I think Paquito was the option that the Philippines opted for, eventually in the hands of Papadap. Dapadab. Mirko. Okay. Some character development from Mirko right here. But the Paquito with the knockout strikes can be a big problem for Cambodia if they are trying to funnel in to, you know, pile up that follow-up. It will be the Benedetta having that electric final blow with the Petrify combo, and of course Brands on that Melissa yet again. We have seen how slippery he can be with that getaway. And now for Cambodia, one final pick. I think crowd control is definitely something they want to go for, and some range will be very, very beneficial because they're up against so much range right now.
Forget slippery, man. When I think of Brands as Melissa, I think just sustain, because at one point up against Philippines, he was standing still. He was just hitting. He just found that opportunity, found that open space to actually go for that Inspire. And that's what you can expect from Brands. He likes to make these crazy plays happen. It doesn't matter that he dies sometimes, as long as he dishes out enough damage for his team to be enabled. But Cambodia now, ooh. All right. That's a solid pickup for Cambodia. Now, this is pretty scary for both teams. I think for the draft, this is, for me, I think both teams have drafted themselves a really solid composition. It's just gonna come down to the execution.
I would agree, but that is a scary prospect, although Taz is a mechanical genius.
We'll see. We saw him on the Fanny, on the Gushin, an absolutely crazy player. But from Cambodia, we've seen Deja pop off, Alpi as well, so it's equal right now in the upper bracket finals on the draft. It's going to come down to how both of these teams execute their game plans, their styles. But Rashi, I asked you before the draft who you think is going to win. Now, after the drafts, tell us.
All things considered, especially with the fact that the joy is on the table, I must go with Indonesia. But of course, that Kadena pick is just so volatile, right? There's so much potential. And of course, when you're trying to match each other in the pickoff game, the blessing of the ocean is so annoying to deal with. I think the early game favors Cambodia quite a bit, but if they don't get rolling, man, that mid game is dangerous from the side of Indonesia.
Well, I think we are going to be ready to jump into the land of dawn for game number 1. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the upper bracket finals will be the first team in the grand finals securing the top 2 position. Will it be Indonesia or will it be Cambodia? As we jump into the land of dawn for game number 1.
Getting straight into it, and already you see a lot of emphasis in the mid lane. Wave pressure is also a big factor, especially if you want to be act and push earlier. You can rotate faster and set up for those very interesting skirmishes, also for pause.
Well, this does give us a little bit more time to actually, dissect the draft a bit, right, Arashi? So let's do exactly that. Cambodia, I think the synergies here for both of these teams, it's proper based on the draft. Kadira, Lapu, Martis, Wanwan, Kaja. We said early on when they picked up their first 2 heroes, the Kaja and the Wanwan, it was already leaning heavily towards that pick style / dive composition, and they just multiplied it, right? With the help of the Martis now, the Lapu and the Kadira, it's all about the executions. If Martis gets going, if the crossbow Tang gets going, it's all about the resets from their ultimates. For the crossbow Tang, added duration, and obviously for the Martis, it's just ult after ult after ult. So there's just so much damage, and that's what they're looking for. That kind of team fight where they're able to just dictate how the team fight goes by going in first.
Not to mention, having so many threats against them right now will be such a mental strain on the Indonesians. Are they going to watch out for the Flicker Divine Judgment? Are they going to watch out for the Bravest Fighter coming in? Because we've seen crazy plays being made off the back of that Lapu Lapu as well. So when you're concerned about multiple angles of approach from your opponents, one of them is bound to succeed. And we'll have to see how solid, how strategic can Indonesia position and maneuver around those possibilities.
Which is, okay, so I have a question for you, Arashi, or a question for all the viewers as well. Personally, Melissa does work. I get what the Melissa was picked for, right? Up against the Lapu, up against the Martis, 2 melee heroes that want to dive on you. But thinking about the Wanwan, the Kanja, and the Kadira, there's not much counterplay that you can do up when you're on the Melissa, right? There's a whole lot of burst, a whole lot of CC on you. I was thinking, especially up against the Wanwan, the Irithel becomes a very solid choice. Now, why do you think Coach Zace opted to go for that Melissa pick for Brands?
The only real reason I can imagine is the fact that they are a team that doesn't like to back down. You know, Indonesia is very decisive when they want to go in. This is the region that is known to be very, very aggressive. So maybe they don't like that approach the Philippines took to kite back, right, and maneuver around. They like bringing the fight towards the Cambodians instead, and maybe they feel that with a Melissa, a hero, they can just do a lot of DPS to multiple members at the same time. They might just be able to stand toe-to-toe against this very aggressive dive from the Cambodian side.
Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we're hearing right now that the technical issue will take a bit of time to resolve, so we are going to head into a break. A very short one. Please do stay tuned. Mirashi, the Mirko Arashi combo, will be back very soon to bring you game number 1 of this upper bracket finals.
World Esports Championship Bali 2022. So, entering day 4 of the biggest esports championship, what did you feel? Did you have some fun? Anyway,
Yeah, we're really happy and up to our standards.
So the next question, what is your key factor that helped you to win in this match?
¿Cuál es el factor clave que les ayudó a ganar en este partido?
La unión entre todos y la confianza entre uno y el otro.
The union among us and trusting each other on all the decisions we had to make. For sure.
So even you have won this match, do you think there are things that you can improve to the next match?
Incluso aunque no hayan perdido ningún partido, ¿creen que hayan cosas que tengan que mejorar para el próximo partido?
Siempre hay cosas que mejorar y hay que ver los errores individuales.
Como que, por ejemplo,
Posicionamiento, visión, comunicación.
there are always things to improve, not only in the macro game, but also in the micro game. Like we could do like some better like visualization of the map and positioning ourselves on the map. So we're going like rewatch our match and check what we did, so we don't make the same mistakes for the next match.
So you will facing other country in your next match. Will you use the same strategy on the next match?
¿Vamos a la misma estrategia contra el próximo partido?
Sí. Vamos a salir con todo. La idea es ganarlo todo. Somos la selección de Argentina y vamos a salir a ganar.
Yeah, well, it obviously depends on the pick and like their rivals when they have. But yeah, we're going to give all of us to the match. We are Argentina, we're proud of it, and we're going to show what Argentina is.
So this is the last question. What is your biggest challenge to beat your opponent?
I'm sorry?
What is your biggest challenge to beat your opponent?
¿Cuál es el principal desafío que tienen para vencer a sus rivales?
Estudiarlos y entender cuál es su forma de juego para poder contrarrestarlo.
Yeah. So our biggest challenge is to understand our rivals, so we can think of a strategy to overcome them before they come after us.
Okay, that's all for all of my questions. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope the best for this competition. Thank you. Okay, so here we have Gabian for Honest Sport, and I have a few questions to ask. So the first question, how confident are you for the Indonesian Mobile Legends national team to win in this competition?
Yang pastinya yakin banget, soalnya kayak aku juga sering lihat ya beberapa turnamen kayak mereka mainnya gimana dan yang gak kalah jagonya sama tim-tim negara lain, jadi harus menang.
So what do you expect for eSport Indonesia?
E-sport Indonesia sekarang kan udah dibilang lumayan maju juga ya maksudnya dibanding negara-negara lain selain Filipina. Jadi ya semoga bisa lebih berkembang lagi, bisa lebih maju lagi, bisa banyak tim gede. Ya, amin.
So okay, for the last question, what is your opinion for IESF?
Opinion ya, udah oke banget sih. Apalagi tadi aku lihat kayak dari tahun lalu dari 2009 sampai sekarang itu kayak udah hebat banget, tetap pertahanin, dibikin jauh lebih baik lagi.
Okay, so today we have Malaysia that will be competing in Mobile Legends going back in World Esports Championship in 2022, and we have a few questions. So the first question, are you satisfied with your performance in this match?
It's fine. I think the boys are quite happy, but they are not overconfident because our motive is to go straight to the finals.
So for the next question, what is your key factor to help you to win in this match?
Menangkan golin dan midfield.
Given you have won this match, do you think that you will improve for your next match?
Saya kira lah, dah menang match ni perlu improve tak untuk next match.
Kita nak akan buat lagi the best lah daripada sebelum ni. InsyaAllah kita akan buat lagi power.
So you will face other country in your next match, right? Do you use the same strategy on the next game?
Maybe tidak. Kita akan gunakan strategi lain. Sebab setiap tim ada strategi orang, so kita orang ada strategi untuk counter orang.
So for the last question, what is your biggest challenge to beat your opponent?
What is the biggest challenge to beat an opponent?
Tim mana yang bagi dia?
The biggest opponent to beat the opponent is about we studied them. We need to Melayu je. Kita orang nak kena beat diorang daripada segi strategi dengan drafting itu je lah kot.
Okay, that's all for my question. Thank you for your time and I hope the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So today we have Philippines that will be competing in Mobile Legends in World Esports Championship 2022, and I have a few questions to ask. So the first question: are you satisfied with your performance in this match?
In this match against Slovenia?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're very satisfied with our we're very satisfied in this match versus Slovenia. But in EVOS, I think we still have some things to work out.
Okay. So what is your key factor to help you to win in this match versus Slovenia?
Ano key factor? What's the key factor?
And the key factor is we work together.
Yeah, we use our best strategy.
Yeah. Do you think there are things that you can make improvement for the better match?
More practice. Yeah, and adjust on cell phone use.
So you will facing other country in your next match, Vietnam, right? So we will use the same strategy.
Yeah, we still have more strategies we're not showing yet. We're gonna show it in our next match. Yeah.
So what is your biggest challenge to beat your opponent?
Biggest challenge. I think our biggest challenge is adjusting to the phones and the comms, because the comms is delay and the sound is very weak. And I think the biggest adjustment is the phone, because we use iPhone in our country.
So how confident are you to win this competition? 100% confident. Yeah, 100%. So this is the last question. Who is the top enemy in this competition?
I think
Indonesia and Cambodia, Malaysia. Yeah. Cambodia and Malaysia. They are competitive. So okay, that's all for my question. Thank you for your time and I hope the best for you all. Thank you. Filipina! Lahat matatag! Okay, thank you. Congratulations, Philippines!
Thank you, support Philippines!
Thank you!
Thank you!
Very much. Thank you. Mobile Legends Bank in World Esports Championship 2022. And I have a few questions to ask. First question, are you all satisfied with the performance of this match?
Hey, go job. Yeah. Can I pass English? So for this match, I think we will take this. So happy, but we're not too satisfied. Our to win the whole championship. Key factor that was win this match is everyone's hard work. Everyone really put in the effort, the time, and mainly just trust between everyone over here and everyone doing their job. Because without everyone's contribution, we wouldn't have been able to do it.
So even if you have one match, do you think there are things that you can improve for the next match?
There's definitely many things that we can improve. There was a lot of mistakes that we made as well in both games, so we will look through our games and fix our errors.
Facing other countries in your next match.
Yeah.
Will you use the same strategy?
Strategy-wise, we cannot really disclose, but I can assure that we still have other strategies out there, and we will see what we want to pull out for each different team. The biggest challenge was because I think Philippines is the favorites, and there's a lot of pressure because our players are all new, and this is our first time representing Indonesia itself. So I feel like the biggest challenge is just the pressure itself. It feels really great to win the M3 Champions, but we know that there's a possibility that they will make a comeback, and we will eventually might face them again. So we're happy for now, but we're not too happy yet. I would say the setup overall is really good. The weather doesn't really affect us, and the setup, the equipment, everything covers the weather, so we don't really feel the heat.
Thank you so much.
Indonesia! Okay, thank you. Congratulations Indonesia! Okay, so hello everyone. We have Daki here as an ex-professional Mobile Legends player from Indonesia.
Okay, hello.
So the first question is, what do you think about this match Indonesia versus Philippines?
Hello match ya, pakai bahasa Indonesia aja ya. Jadi menurutku matchnya itu bagus banget, tapi menurutku Indonesia masih punya PR karena secara early Filipina lebih bagus, masih lebih bagus, tapi secara mid game mungkin tadi Filipina over PD, ada yang game 1 over PD, akhirnya Indonesia bisa balikin. Tapi maksudnya menurutku kemenangannya belum clean aja.
So who is the top opponent for Indonesia in IESF?
Filipina.
How much confidence are you that Indonesia will be the winner for this competition?
70% ya.
So for the last question, any future hope for esport Indonesia?
For esport in Indonesia is semoga banyak tim baru bisa masuk MPL, termasuk GPX.
Okay, thank you. That's all. Thank you. So today we have Cambodia that will be competing in Mobile Legends Bang Bang in World Esports Championship 2022, and I have a few questions to ask. So the first question, how do you feel about this? Are you satisfied, or maybe there's something that you all need to improve from this match?
From the last match, we feel exciting, and there's a lot of things for us to learn from the last match.
Okay, so what do you think about your enemy performance today?
Their performance is very strong because they have more experience, and yes, they very strong.
So is there any special preparation for the next match?
Yeah, there is the draft, the strategy for the next match.
Okay, so you already won the game in this time, right?
Yeah.
What things do you have that your enemy doesn't have? Maybe can be your chemistry more than good than them, or rather?
I think it's our spirit. Together, we all in one. We know what to do, and yeah, we trust each other. We have the same spirit.
So how confident are you to win this competition?
Our confidence is 50%. Yeah, 50%.
So for the last question, who is the top enemy in this competition? Why?
I think both of Philippines and Indonesia are the toughest team for us to beat.
Why?
Because they are the stronger team in ASEAN, and they have more experience, and yeah, their players so strong.
So okay, so that's all for my question. Thank you for your time, and I hope the best for your competition.
Thank you.
Okay, so today we have Age and Textam as a coach and analyst from Indonesian Mobile Legends team in World Esports Championship 2022, and I have a few questions to ask. Okay, so the first question, how do you feel about this match? Are you all satisfied? Or maybe there's something that you all need to improve from this match?
Dengan pertandingan tadi kita udah lumayan puas lah ya, kita bisa menang terus, tapi kalau kita lihat kita tetap fokusnya buat di upper bracket final, terus di nanti di grand finalnya sih. Jadi ya kita masih tetap, walaupun puas, tetap fokus buat dapetin emas sih, kayak gitu.
So what do you think about your enemy performance today?
Musuhnya sebenarnya lumayan bagus, dari draftingnya juga kita lihat mereka udah cenderung ke hero-hero yang meta, yang mereka tahu powernya seperti apa, ngikutin patch banget, dan ya lumayan ngagetin sih musuhnya. Mereka bisa adaptasi dengan meta-meta yang sedang berlangsung lah di Mobile Legends ini. Jadi menurut gua musuhnya lumayan kuat.
So is there any special preparation for the next match?
Untuk next match-nya lawan Kamboja, kita prepare ini aja sih, respect mereka lah. Jadi mereka strateginya apa, kita pelajarin, kita siapin, jadi kita nggak kaget lah buat lawan mereka. Jadi kita tetap respect, siapapun lawannya kita akan ngasih yang terbaik lah.
So you already won the game in this time, right? So what things that you have that on your team doesn't have?
Sebenarnya kekurangan di tim kita itu adalah kita masih kurang disiplin, masih kurang rapi mainnya. Dimana sebenarnya kita bisa lebih rapi, bisa lebih clean, jadi gamenya juga lebih mudah. Nah itu yang perlu kita tingkatin selama turnamen ini berjalan langsung.
So for the last question, is there anything to be worried from the next match against Cambodia? Maybe the player or their gameplay?
Mungkin lawan Kambodia ini, karena kita tahu tadi kita expect-nya kita bakal finalnya lawan Malaysia ya. Ternyata Kamboja bisa ngalahin. Jadi ya kita inilah pelajarin lah kenapa mereka bisa ngalahin Malaysia, dan kita respect dari draftnya juga. Kita baca mereka strateginya bakal gimana. Jadi kita nggak bakal kaget lawan mereka. Jadi,
Okay, so that's all for my question. Thank you for your time, and I hope the best for this competition.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so today we have.
Here, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the first game of the upper bracket finals.
It's been a short delay, but here we are. Finally, we are back into the game. Thanks for waiting, ladies and gentlemen. As we can see right now, both teams still being very, very aggressive. And as predicted, the mid lane, there's just so much action here, and side cuts once a part of the action.
Well, we'll see once again. Again, very sorry for the short delay. There was reports of an earthquake here in Indonesia. So we are going to be resuming. Again, we were just making sure nothing's going on, everything's all safe to go.
Safety is number one priority.
Exactly, but now you can already see a very aggressive movement from the side of Dream. It's going to be taken down by Impunity, this roster from Cambodia. Team Cambodia strikes first in game number 1 with first blood.
The Kadira, man, is just so dangerous. And the playmaking is just very subtle. The spells from this Kadira isn't exactly that flashy, so you really need to pay attention. Otherwise, Deja is going to have a great time here, and he is on that mid lane, Kadira, so that's a lot more damage to think about.
Here early on, you can already see as well that Brands is having a bit of trouble here, even though he is actually utilizing that turret really well to get the favorable trade up against the 1-1. This matchup, though, I do want to talk a little bit about it. The turtle has spawned in Arashi, who has the lead here, who has the advantage.
I think it's quite balanced, but Cambodia, they have a lot more tools to begin fights, so I think the Indonesians need to be very, very careful, and now it begins.
Numenor Blast comes in, and that's going to be T taken down. The Petrify as well with the final blow as the backline will be targeted by Boom. Hijime with the flicker to get out to safety, but that's the retribution by Taj as he goes absolutely massive, dealing a whole lot of damage, picking up a kill as well. Boom melted down, forced to flicker out, and Indonesia comes back, secures the turtle, and 2 kills.
I wish I can say I was surprised, but look at how oppressive this Joy is. A lot of damage, a lot of survivability. At the end of the fight, Taz had almost half his HP bar worth of shields, and that is something that in this early game Cambodia cannot deal with. They simply just don't have the items, the damage to deal with it, and this is why it's so annoying to have this Joy on the opposing side, and they need to be more proactive here, because if Indonesia are the ones engaging the fight, like now you can see, it's just very, very dangerous, and they are risking getting picked off.
The rhythm of Joy and the electrifying beats, it does so much damage. It's
nasty combo.
Nasty combo, and on top of that, nasty mobility. He's untargetable practically when she is using that rhythm of Joy. But
5 jumps essentially, I think.
Yeah, 4 or 5 jumps. If you keep on resetting it, if you play with the rhythm as well, you deal more damage with the passive. But there is another pause, it seems, that is going to be initiated from Cambodia right now. As you'll see what is wrong. Again, please be patient with us, ladies and gentlemen. There is, I think, a technical issue again.
We want to make sure that the game runs as intended. Nothing just sways the balance in anyone's favor. But for now, very, very interestingly enough, it's the matchup here between the Joy and the Martis. It's just very interesting because it's the same idea. A lot of dashes, tankiness as well, and a lot of damage. So now it becomes a showdown almost between the Martis and the Joy, especially in this early game where you can just abuse that immunity and just take control. But now it's a bit of a mechanical showdown.
We'll see, right? Early game, it does feel like even though Cambodia were able to find that first blood, punishing Dreams, it is Indonesia that still has more control from the neutral objective take to the team fight that happened around the turtle. Here though, again, once we get into the mid stage, I'm looking at the compositions and I'm just thinking right now, it feels like it's just the Kaja who can really be a problem for the Joy. The Kadira, sure, if he is able to land that Petrify with the Breath of the Ocean combo, but if not, it's done, right? It's just the Kaja. Kaja use a Divine Judgment, that's about it. But considering that Indonesia have a whole lot of other abilities, a whole lot of other resources to counter the Divine Judgment. Like, that's exactly what we saw in the first turtle fight. Divine Judgment was popped into the Joy, but then there was a Numenal Blast that was channeled in.
There was a lethal final blow as well, I believe. And the AoE from Indonesia is very solid, and that is why it's very dangerous if the Cambodians do not get the momentum, the initiative, because if they are the ones starting off things, then the Indonesians are forced to use their spells defensively to try and stave off that damage. But now, as you can see, they have no doubt at all. There's no hesitation in using the Numenal Blast, the Electro Final Blow, to just go aggressive. And this is what we've been talking about from Indonesia. They have a front-to-back team composition against a dive composition, and yet they don't care. They're going to go and bring the fight to you instead.
Well, we're going to jump in back to the game as the game has been resumed by Cambodia and Indonesia. Again, 3 minutes in, there is a 1,000 gold lead currently for Indonesia. Both teams are playing it relatively passive here as Taz jumps in once again with the Rhythm of Joy. Jumps in as well, using the electrifying beats. Doesn't get the gold buff though.
That's a fancy beat actually that comes up when you use that ultimate. But Taz is just all across the map, trying to get the gangs up, getting that farm as well. I think the mid game is where both teams have the resources to try and start just turning up the aggression and starting to attempt to at least snowball, or maybe perhaps just get objective advantages, because both teams have shown that they have that macro knowledge. And I think with that makes the team fights just that much trickier, depending on what mutual objective is on the map.
Good read by Brands here, as we mentioned. Strong side towards that gold lane for Cambodia. Taz again with the Rhythm of Joy just being such a nuisance. Lutu still able to get out on the Martis anti-CC, but it is just going to be Indonesia who takes the turtle for free, as Cambodia has opted to actually play around that gold lane. Opie finding a solo kill up against Brands. And T and Deja are waiting patiently for Taz to step in. He jumps in, gets caught in Divine Judgment, and that's the burst we mentioned, Arashi. The Petrify as well, but Taz is still able to survive. Jumps in with the Rhythm of Joy once, twice, 3 times, and that's the 4th with the electrifying beats, dealing as much damage as possible. Deja gets taken out by Dreams. So much shielding for the Joy, Arashi.
Taz with the Joy. Yes, there's a lot of shielding here, but even before that, in the initial CC lock, he was able to survive from that without a vengeance. So that is very interesting. I really thought that it was over for him right there, but he was able to survive with a sliver of HP, and that is all you need on this hero. You need to seal the deal before there's any counterplay. Otherwise, it's an absolute disaster. And for Cambodia, now they're on the back foot for sure. Indonesia will try and use this lead, this control, and get those nasty pickoffs of their own, or even a big combo, unless Cambodia can do something surprising, like the trap in the purple buff. It was a very great attempt.
6 minutes in now, it's still a 1,000 gold lead. I feel like Cambodia, even though they've been behind, they've been losing a lot in these skirmishes, they're still keeping level head. They're really farming well, and they're trying their best to minimize that gold lead. Meanwhile, Boom actually gets a solo kill on Psychots. Deja will fall as well. It's 1-for-1 as Taz is looking for an engage. It's the conceal by T to help his gold laner OP get out. Dreams though gonna be brought back for Divine Judgment. That's the shield coming up, and that's gonna be OP who's looking for all the shield. That's the crossbow tang popped up. It's gonna be Dreams who gets taken down, but it's gonna be traded back in as OP will fall to the hands of Brands. That's again Taz doing so much damage with the electrifying beats. Popping that sick beat, my man.
On the sick beat, but losing the mid turret in the process. That is a very good rotation from Lutu. But you can see that the rotation game very much favors Indonesia. They're always one step ahead due to that wave clear advantage. But somehow, some way, Cambodia, they've been staying in their lanes, and eventually they're having a turret advantage. Although now, Indonesia has a chance to actually use that time to go for the neutral objectives.
Cambodia are so good at looking for these crazy pickoffs almost everywhere on the map. But they're opting again to put most of their resources to play around OP. 2-0 stat line currently, still the same stat line as Brands, but again, they are already getting that push control around the topside river. Indonesia rotating with a similar pattern towards that topside. Lutu trying his best to just open up the map, and both teams will not decide to go in just yet.
Oh, they're going for the gold buff though, but it seems to be just a small trade going on, unless Dreams goes into the bush.
Uh-oh, that's gonna be Dreams lot of resources placed onto him. He soaks in every single damage from the crossbow attack, and that's going to be Taz caught very low. Still able to dash in with the Rhythm of Joy. That's Brands actually locking Lutu in place with his go away. Lutu finding the kill, but will fall as well to the hands of Taz, who picks up a double. Psychots now on to T, who has the Divine Judgment, will be able to pull him back into the turret. Now Boom, with the Bravest Fighter, is able to dish out some damage, but Psychots gets out with relative ease on that Benedetta.
Cambodia is getting some kills on the board, but they're allowing Taz to start to snowball, man. He is 3-0 right now. He has the Genius one, and he has built the Oracle very early on. It means less damage for him, but it also means that Deja as well as Tai cannot actually burst him down as reliably as they would like, and it's only going to get worse from here on out. He is already very tanky, and with the steel leg plates, that is some very efficient itemization to ensure that the damage from OP as well as Lutu and Boom can be mitigated as well.
Here again, it feels like Cambodia. Shush! Sorry, my bad. It's okay. There's also a Kalas right there from Dream, so both teams just having fun, right? Even though they're competing here in the upper bracket finals for the grand final spot, it's great to see that both teams are still enjoying their time in the Land of Dawn. Cambodia, though, however, are 3,000 gold behind of Indonesia. This will definitely impact their next few fights if they do decide to commit and fight, contest, instead of trading. Boom has already started his rotation down to that top side. Deja going to be able to catch Psychots with the Petrify. Suppression as well with Divine Judgment. Taz wreaking havoc with the Rhythm of Joy. That's the Unknown Blast placed in as well. Popped in. T going to be caught, but it's only the Roamer taken down for the XP lane. Lutu and Boom still relatively untouched. He gets the stun onto two members, but the real world manipulation is still there. Taz again jumping, weaving everywhere. Has the electrifying beats, but will not choose to use it just yet. They'll choose to go for the Lord now. 1 for 1, it still stands, but it's still Indonesia with more control.
Indonesia has more control, and they are trying to use it to bait in more kills. Lutu goes in 1v3, but he will be forced to back away, and Indonesia is not risking any 50-50 in this retribution battle. They're waiting for the right moment, and they have a structure taken on the other side of the map just for good measure. Now, with Hijumi having a glowing wand, the poke damage is going to get very, very much worse for the side of Cambodia, and that will pressure them into making these reckless engages, and perhaps that will allow Indonesia to punish it even more. As you can see, Cambodia very intent on getting this lowered.
Top lane, tier 1 going to be target T, looking for that Divine Judgment, but a perfectly placed go away is there. Taz, again with the Rhythm of Joy, soaking in so much damage, but will be caught in the Petrify. That's a shutdown over to OP, who's going massive now. Has the crossbow attack, just one more weakness point onto Dreams. But OP gets poked back. Falling back now, Dreams is looking for it. Psychots with a Petrify onto 2, and the final blow finds OP. It's absolutely amazing for Psychots, with the crossbow attack given over to OP, who's still able to convert it onto Dreams. 2 members falling once again. Cambodia have risen again. It's a 3-for-1.
It's a 3-for-1, an absolute disaster for Indonesia. Taz got shut down by none other than OP, and that's a huge cold swing as the Indonesians going for another fight.
Brands trying to do what he can here. He's going for the steal, but will not be able to find it. The go away and the Wind of Nature popped in, but it's going to be petrified. And you can't Wind of Nature. The damage from that Kadira magic penetrating through, and Brands taken off the board.
That's a 2v5 essentially for the Indonesians. Very, very reckless, and it seems like they're losing control in this game right now. They certainly are not expecting the difficulty for Taz to actually take control of that game. We questioned if Cambodia has a solution, has something in the pocket. That is what they're showing right now. With the Lord pushing in, Cambodia goes for the jungle control as well, and the Indonesians are struck.
Rhythm of Joy. Last time he jumped in and got caught in the Divine Judge. Cambodia. A good fight, concealed play, T flickering forward, be the Joy, targeted down, Taz out instantly now as Lutu is able to disengage. A good stun from Boom to once again help the rest of the members to back off. It's another 1-for-0, Rashi, and Cambodia, it feels like they're one step ahead.
It seems like now that Joy pick is actually harming the chances of Indonesia, because Taz keeps going in and overestimating the flexibility, the power of this Joy, and Cambodia is absolutely punishing it. If they take it slow, Brands as well as Hijumi has enough damage to start poking around, to pressure the members of Cambodia. There's a lot of physical defense being built, but Hijumi with the glowing wand ready right now can actually poke them down before Taz goes in to secure those kills. So I think they have to be more synergized in how they want to approach these fights, because right now it seems like it's very disconnected. We're seeing a lot of fights from Indonesia without the whole team, the 5 members at the same time.
Cambodia. We questioned their decision not to ban the Joy, but right now it's working to their favor as T opens up the map, forcing Dreams to back off. Indonesia zoned away from their own jungle as the orange buff will be claimed by Cambodia again. It feels so tough for Indonesia currently because Cambodia have such a good kite back composition. They can kite back, they can even engage now. And that's what we mentioned earlier, right? This pick style of composition that Cambodia opted to go for and kept on building towards. It really is looking super strong right now.
Especially because early on, Indonesia has their own pressure, so Cambodia cannot synergize, cannot set up for these big ambushes. But now with the tides turned, with the gold lead in the hands of the Cambodians, they are all over the jungle of the Indonesians. The Magic Century will expose them for now, as Brands has picked up this Demon Hunter sword, allowing him to maybe be a bigger threat towards the tankier members.
Ooh, that was such a risky move by Taz. Man, he dashed towards T on the Kaja. But he knows exactly what's going to happen there. He knows that T won't be in range after he uses the Rhythm of Joy. But it's just pretty stressful for me to watch.
Again, very aggressive moves. That's not quite necessary for Taz, so maybe this is just his character, his killer instinct, his mechanical skill wanting to be used, but now Psychos is being targeted.
Uh-oh, Psychos gonna be caught, doesn't get the eye for an eye, but he gets the Petrify. Now the final blow as well, caught! No crossbow tang used just yet. Indonesia decided to look for a trade here on the lore, look for retribution. Taz gets it, but he's gonna be caught there. Brands with a brilliant disengage, crossbow tang still ready, OP pops it in. Winner truncheon by Taz now, caught in the midst of it all, jumps in, back and forth once again. Taz gets out, it's a good trade. Psychos traded in for the Lord for Indonesia to stay in this game.
Wow, that mobility, man, is just so tough to deal with. Cambodia, with 4 members, were unable to get that pickup onto Taz, and now Hijume has built a winter truncheon as well, so the dive is just less effective.
Uh-oh, Dreams caught Taz doing so much damage. Taz is absolutely a monster here. He's still able to survive, buying so much time, and it's a 1-0, 1-for-1 here. Everybody's low, 2-for-1, and that's a kill taken by Brands. 2 members low from Cambodia. The Enhanced Lord marching top, and it does seem like we're going to get a replay here, Hirashi. What happened in this team fight?
Cambodia around together, and the AoE coming in from Hijume is something that they are not taking into consideration. They get very, very low, but now another fight is breaking up in the bottom, in the actual real game time.
Hijume, apparently, a bit too aggressive, overstepping his boundaries there in the enemy jungle. But it's all good for Indonesia still. Even though they lost Hijume, they were able to find a few trades on the board. Tier 2 in the top lane, mid lane, and even in the bottom lane, equalizing the turrets here for themselves. But the Tier 2 hasn't fallen in that bottom lane just yet.
I'm questioning a bit how the Winter Truncheon is the option that Hijume is building for, because I think even if he does survive with the Winter Truncheon, that means that the whole roster of Cambodia will be on him when he gets out of it. I thought he would opt for something a bit more kite orientated, but now he has that double wand combo along with the Divine Glaive. That's more than enough damage, and he will be one of the main targets for the side of Cambodia. But keep in mind, Cambodia are just stacking up that magic resistance. 2 Radiant Armors already built, Oracle for Boom as well. That will mean that the bulk of the damage will need to come from Brands and Psychots. We'll have to see, can that win condition be completed, achieved by the Indonesians?
Well, they're already popping that Conceal Dreams, looking for the players, opens up the map. T there, doesn't choose to go for the Divine Judgment just yet. Deja gets out with the Odyssey. Ludu still soaking in a lot. OP, Psychos trying his best to look for it. Psychos tries to cut the wave there, but it's not going to be able to happen. T gets a Divine Judgment, but Psychos once again is going to be able to jump in. Winter Nature popped in by OP, who's going to be massive here. Has a lot of room to play with. Boom jumps in, Brands gets stunned, but has the Winter Nature. OP still in the back line, still hitting. Has it, having the crossbow attack. Will try his best to look for all the weakness points, but it's going to be reset once again as Taz finds the shutdown onto Lutu. Cambodia on the back foot. 2 members alive. For Indonesia, it's just Psychos who gets taken down. OP once again trying to make the miracle play happen as he looks for the crossbow attack, and he finds it. Dreams gonna be taken down. Taz as well, but a Winter Truncheon is there for Taz. Doing no last, but OP is still kiting, still saving Cambodia. Cambodia from getting the amazing defense.
Boom, now chasing for a kill. Real manipulation is being popped, but the OP will be there to zone them all away. And this is the story of the game right now. If Indonesia can get pickups of their own, they have an advantage. Let's take a look at that replay once again. Cambodia going in aggressively, but then being counter-engaged, and Psychots and Taz diving towards the backline, zones everyone away until Boom comes in and OP realizes there's a chance here. He goes back in for the outplay, gets that crossbow of Tang, and that is how dangerous Cambodia is, even on the back foot.
Oh my god, that was a 2v4, and OP continues to surprise us from last 2021 MSC to now. They're able to find the Lord because of that play, that defense that went so well for them. They punished Indonesia all on the back of OP in the late game. Even up against Dreams, when he popped that shield, he was able to maneuver away behind the shield.
This is why this composition is so dangerous. Every single member, every single hero on the side of Cambodia can make the plays happen. Whereas for Indonesia, it's about unity. It's about synergy, playing as five, because otherwise, alone, the Yves, the Lolita, the Melissa, they cannot make these plays happen alone. Even Taz right now is being completely countered. They need to play around each other and get that united team fight to get that victory.
18 minutes in, this is still an enhanced Lord though that Cambodia took. They couldn't risk waiting for that 18-minute mark for the evolved Lord to spawn. Them now trying their best to micromanage the waves. Taz, very risky play again, walking in front of that Kaja. T's been absolutely solid with his divine judgments. Both teams are opting to play it still very slow, building those waves up for Cambodia to crash and siege.
Not to mention, T has the flicker, so beware of that flicker divine judgment combo. But here we go, Cambodia sieging away, and look at T.
T looking for it now, gonna get stunned up. Not able to find a divine judgment. That's the petrify onto one member. Deja is the only one caught there. The real world inflation instantly cancelled out, and Indonesia opts to clear out the enhanced Lord first. Bottom lane gonna be targeted here. That's gonna be an amazing winner judgment by Hijime to escape from the divine judgment threat. Lumina blast now onto one member. It was dodged away by Lutu and Boom, who's now caught in the base. Immortality still available. 1-0 right now for Cambodia. Boom, getting out. Taj jumping in, looking for some damage. Not able to connect on the second Rhythm of Joy, and Cambodia will try their best to look for another push.
Hijime has the Holy Crystal, so that's a lot of damage. He is the main wave tier 2 right now, but Cyclops goes in.
Final blow used up. Deja gonna be caught there, but still is able to run away with the oddity. Psychos gonna be taken down. The crossbow Tang, massive. OP is absolutely overpowered. The real world manipulation and desperation. Boom, gonna be caught. Immortality's popped in. Lutu looks for the base, and Cambodia gets the first game in the series. Another massive victory for Cambodia.
We said Joy was OP. We said the team that has Joy will win the game for sure. Cambodia says no. That is not the case at all.